Guys and Dolls ran for 1,200 performances and was hailed one of Broadway's greatest hits, a model of the musical comedy genre and one of the best productions of the century. In short, it was loved by audiences and critics alike.
Just talking musicals with you.
Hello, I'm Lesley Anne Knight and welcome to Just Talking Musicals and the final part of our Guys and Dolls story. On Friday the 24th of November 1950, a bright new musical called Guys and Dolls opened at the 46th Street Theatre on Broadway. Inspired by the original book of the same name by writer and newspaperman Damon Runyon, its two keen-eyed producers, Cy Foyer and Ernest Martin, had teamed up with the veritable Dean of Broadway, George S. Kaufman, to direct, the multi-talented Abe Burrows to write the script, the innovative Michael Kidd to choreograph, all topped off with the genius of lyricist and composer Frank Loesser. But the road to this Broadway opening night hadn't always been a smooth one, and tryouts in Philadelphia had been awash with constant changes and fraught nerves. Sitting nervously with his wife amongst the eager first-nighters, Abe Burrows vividly recalled the overture, the opening dance, and the three horseplays came out. A trumpet blew, and there was a wave of laughter through the audience. I said to my wife, "We're in." The very next morning, theatre critic Brooks Atkinson from the New York Times reported, "It opened at the 46th Street last evening. From the technical point of view, we might as well admit that Guys and Dolls is a work of art. It is spontaneous and has form, style and spirit. In view of the source material, that is not astonishing, for Damon Runyon captured the idle corner of the town with sympathetic understanding and reproduced it slightly caricatured in the sketches and stories he wrote. Guys and Dolls is gusty and uproarious, and it is not too grand to take a friendly personal interest in the desperate affairs of Broadway's backroom society." Guys and Dolls ran for 1,200 performances and was hailed one of Broadway's greatest hits, a model of the musical comedy genre and one of the best productions of the century. In short, it was loved by audiences and critics alike. It swept the Theatre Awards in 1951, winning 7 Tonys, an Outer Critics Circle and Theatre World Award, and has kept on winning countless major awards in the 70-plus years since it first appeared. And in what had become quite a tradition with successful Broadway musicals, Guys and Dolls made the journey across the Atlantic to Great Britain and opened at the London Coliseum on Thursday the 28th of May 1953, where lucky audiences got to see some of the original Broadway cast members. Vivian Blaine, Sam Levine, Stubby Kaye and Johnny Silver lit up the London stage, and the cast served up a corner of Broadway to the West End of London in scintillating style. Their performance moved English theatre critic Kenneth Tynan to write, "I'm ready to up and drop on my knees before Frank Loesser, who may be the best light composer in the world." In fact, the chances are that Guys and Dolls is not only a young masterpiece, but the beggar's opera of Broadway. Later writing that he considered it to be the greatest work of American drama after Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman. It ran for 555 performances at the Coliseum, and considering the former People's Palace of Entertainment sat nearly twice that of Broadway's 46th Street Theatre, its success was surely equalled on both sides of the Atlantic. In March 1954, the Hollywood trade magazines reported that the producer Samuel Goldwyn had successfully bid for the film rights to Guys and Dolls, and at a cool $1 million, it was the highest price ever paid for a film. Later that summer, MGM announced that Marlon Brando, with a string of Best Actor nominations to his credit, would play Sky Masterson, with English Rose Gene Simmons playing his buttoned-up siren Miss Sarah. Goldwyn then signed up none other than singing star Frank Sinatra to play Nathan Detroit, and Vivian Blaine was able to reprise her role as his frustrated fiancée and bring Miss Adelaide to the screen. Likewise, Stubby Kaye was signed to recreate his show-stopping performance as Nicely Nicely Johnson, along with Broadway originals B.S. Pulley and Johnny Silver. Goldwyn then hired double Academy Award-winning Joseph L. Mankiewicz to direct the film, even though he'd never worked on a musical before. As for Brando, a great actor he may have been, but he had never been hailed a great singer, and yet here he was playing the lead in a musical with some fairly demanding numbers to deliver. And as for Frank Sinatra, a well-known singer, he found himself with barely any singing to do at all. And yet, despite all the signs to the contrary, Goldwyn pulled it off. Set designer Oliver Smith conjured up a magical Runyon land on the Goldwyn lot at Hollywood, and Michael Kidd's athletic choreography was full of the energy and life he had delivered on Broadway. Although the film score regrettably dropped 4 of the show's original songs, Frank Sinatra was at least appeased with 2 new numbers and was able to make a singer out of Nathan Detroit, whilst Brando's undeniable screen presence more than made up for his lack of vocal lessons. And Stubby Kaye's rendition of Sit Down, You're Rockin' the Boat prompted a young Steve Sondheim, writing for Films in Review, to hail Stubby Kaye as the real hero of the picture, who made Sit Down, You're Rockin' the Boat one of the most memorable numbers in musical comedy history. And as part of the film's publicity in October 1955, Ed Sullivan presented a special 30-minute segment to promote the film on his popular Sunday evening show, and Guys and Dolls went on to become one of the highest-grossing pictures of the year. It goes without saying that there have been numerous tours and revival of Guys and Dolls since it first appeared on Broadway, proving even in the 21st century that it still hasn't lost its lustre. Over the years, the best in the business on both sides of the Atlantic had given it a shot, with some standout legendary offerings from Richard Eyre's multi-award-winning 1982 National Theatre production starring Ian Charleson, Julia Mackenzie, Bob Hoskins and Julie Covington, to Jerry Zach's 1992 equally highly acclaimed award-winning revival at the Martin Beck Theatre, starring Nathan Lane, Faith Prince, Peter Gallagher and Josie de Guzman, which ran for 1,143 performances and broke the record for the longest-running revival in a full-size Broadway theatre. Speaking in his broad Brooklyn accent in an interview about writing Guys and Dolls in 1974, Abe Burrows described how he set out to treat these mugs like ladies and gentlemen and as though I were Noel Coward. And when he was 91 years old, Cy Foyer wrote, "I can hear the music now. I shuffle through the apartment and hum the tunes and murmur the lyrics. It's funny. I'm half deaf and half blind, but I can hear it all perfectly, and I can see us all in our prime, half crazy with worry, as we brought the show to Philadelphia more than half a century ago." The feel-good factor that's conjured up right from the opening bars in this show has brought smiles and laughter to generations of happy audiences and performers alike, and moved critics to near poetry, as witnessed by chief theatre critic for the New York Times, Frank Rich's review in 1992. "If you have ever searched Times Square to find that vanished Broadway of lovable gangsters, wisecracking dolls and neon-splashed dawns, you must not miss the Guys and Dolls that roared into the old neighbourhood last night. This is an enchanting rebirth of the show that defines Broadway dazzle." And with Richard Eyre, the director of the magnificent 1982 National Theatre Revival, revealing to me in an interview in 2013 that working on Guys and Dolls was the closest he's been to heaven in a theatre, then you can bet your bottom dollar that Ernest Martin knew a good story when he found one. Right, don't go away, as next up we have our special Season 4 interview with the fabulous Honorary Doctor of Arts, CBE and Olivier Award-winning choreographer Stephen Mear. Stephen's amazing career has taken him in all directions, from musical theatre on Broadway and the West End to opera at the ENO, Paris and the Met in New York, and includes, amongst others, The Little Mermaid, Mary Poppins, On the Town, Acorn Antiques, Tonight's the Night, Anything Goes, Singin' in the Rain, Soul Train, Witches of Eastwick, Guys and Dolls, and 42nd Street. I'm Lesley Anne Knight. You can find Just Talking Musicals on Facebook and Instagram, and we're lucky on Twitter as well. And, of course, as ever, we'd love it if you press subscribe. There's nothing to pay, but it means you get sent a message when we post a new episode. See you soon.
Just talking musicals with you.